Hi there, it's Kerry today from Sempre Soras, and I'm going to do try and do a tutorial. It's going to be Helena Bonham character's makeup from The Lone Ranger, the new film, which I haven't seen yet, but I have seen her makeup. I have some photos that I'm going to refer to, and I linked to them in the blog. I think it should be an easy enough makeup to do, hopefully. So I'm going to try it out. And okay, first of all, I have moisturised my face. I have some dry patches. I had a disaster with some L'Oreal face cream, made me break out. So anyway, we won't go there, but I have moisturised, and I'm going to apply the foundation on top of that. Okay, so normally the first thing I do is I apply some concealer over any redness or anywhere you might like it. Some people do this after their foundation. I prefer to do it beforehand, so I don't use so much foundation. So I'm just going to use the Collection 2000 Lasting Perfection. Actually, I think it's just changed to Collection now, the name. This colour is light too, but normally I would use fair. So I just generally do some stripes around where I want it. You can use this, doesn't just have to be for under your eyes or whatever. If you have problems with redness or anything else, you can just use a concealer to cover it up. Sometimes it's the best thing. Other people use that green stuff. I have some of that, but it doesn't blend properly on my skin. I also had a Benefit, I'm not sure what it's called, maybe colour corrector or something like that. It's a stick and it's yellow. That worked well, but it's really expensive, so I'm not going to be buying that again because the Collection 2000 works well for me. So I'm just going to buff that in, and then we go on with the foundation. And just to show you, I use the Real Techniques buffing brush. Sometimes you can just use your fingers, like if you want. You don't have to use a brush at all, but it's just nice. And I can buff it all in, and I like that. So I have the concealer on. You can put as much or as little as you like, and just looking at the photograph of Helena's makeup, kind of the official pardon me, poster photograph, her foundation is really a light colour. There isn't really much contrast. Like it's quite pale overall. I just see a little bit of contour and like shade on her cheeks. So I'm going to go for something light. I'm going to choose this Essence Stay All Day Long Lasting Makeup in Soft Nude because it's new and I haven't used it before, so I'm going to go with that. It seems like the right colour, so I'm going to try that out and see what happens. So just put some back of my hand, get my Real Techniques buffing brush again, and I normally start on the cheeks, wherever needs the most coverage is where I start, and then go on from there. It smells really perfect. So I've applied the foundation, the Essence Stay All Day in Soft Nude. I think it's a nice colour. I really like it. It has a shine off it, even though it's a matte makeup. Maybe that will... Actually, is it a matte makeup? Why did I think it was matte? It doesn't say matte. No. Oh. Maybe it's not matte. But where I have dry skin, let this be a lesson to you all, it has really clung. So, I mean, there's nothing I can do about that. It's just kind of peeling. You can add some moisturiser to try and bring it up, but that's just going to be the way for now. But yeah, maybe with something with more moisture would have worked a little bit better. But happy enough with that. So that's the foundation done. So the main thing in Helena's look for the movie is her eyebrows are really strong. I have very little eyebrows, so I'm going to try and fill them in and make them really strong. On her eyes there's, I would say, kind of a light brown to beige. Even in some photographs, you know, she doesn't really look like she's wearing much on her eyes. If anything, it's like that natural dark tone that would be on some people's eyelids, and just none if to little eyeliner, and but nice long black lashes, and then the lips, quite a red berry lip. So I think I'm going to start off with the eyebrows, try and get them done as well as I can. So yeah, eyebrows next. Okay, so onto the eyebrows. I'm going to use the HD brows. Oh, thing just fell out. I got this in a glossy box. You can buy it on Amazon or wherever. I don't know. It's not cheap, but it's not super expensive. When and if I have to replace this, I will, because I think it's really good. Although I haven't tried any of the e.l.f. brow products, but I just think this is great. As my eyebrow brush, I'm using an Avon brush that is, you know, an angled brush. I think it's supposed to be for eyeliner, but I just found it great for eyebrows. So I'm going to go with that now. My brush had a bit of a faux pas in its brush holder, and it's kind of bent a little bit, so I'm going to see if this actually works anymore. So I'm going to go with a mix of a couple of the dark colours. I'm going to try them out and see how they look, because her eyebrows are much darker than mine, so I have to make it a good bit darker. So okay, I'm going to keep referring to the picture as I do this. I'm not very good at art, but I'll try and recreate the shape of her brow. Everyone does brows differently. I know there's the proper way to do it, and then there's the way I do it. But it kind of goes up in an arch there. I'll just do the bottom part first, and it's really, hope you can see, it's really quite bushy there. And I've mixed brown and the dark from this HD Brows palette. Quite high, and that's my arch, and then back down, and the ends, yeah, they're pretty thick. They don't go to a fine end. So just okay, you can see that I filled in the brown here and here. I'm just getting a Real Techniques angled brush. My other angled brush has just gone a bit fluffy and weird, and I just dipped it in the darkest colour of the HD brows, just lightly, and actually just pat some of that off, and just do some tiny little dabs, just to try and make it look like little hairs might be there, because I just don't have thick eyebrows, and when you just fill them in with the powder, they just look quite drawn on, and I just want to try and add some texture to it. I'd love to have one of those pencils. I know, I think the brand is Suku. I'll put it in the description box, but it's a little pen and it's so fine, and you can just draw on some hairs. Maybe that'll be something I can invest in the future. But for now, it's just going to be a bit of this. Or, if you had a really fine liner brush, like I have this, but it's not fine enough. This is the Pixel Point eyeliner brush from Real Techniques, but they do another finer one. And even just use that maybe with some damp eyeshadow, just to draw on some hairs. But I'm going to go with that for now. I'm happy enough with it. Look completely ridiculous if I go any further. If you have any bits to tidy up, just use a cotton bud. I just wiped it in a face wipe, and there'll be enough stuff on it just to take off any. Okay, the next thing I'm going to go and do I'm just going to pick the colours that I think suit it best. I could be completely wrong. After this I'm going to see if I can find any other tutorials on this look and see what they've used for the eyes. Just testing myself to see. But first of all, I put on, where is it going? A primer on my eyes. Oh yeah, I have this e.l.f. mineral eyeshadow primer, so I'll put some of that on, and then I'm going to use the Urban Decay Naked Basics, because I think it's quite a naked eye, so I thought this might be the best thing to use. So first of all, where's my primer gone? Here it is. So I'm just going to put that there, and then I'll blend that out all over the eye. Maybe another bit. I'm still not sure what I think of this eyelid primer. I'll just use my finger to blend it out. I think it's a bit greasy when I put it on. I don't know, maybe it's just me. What do you think? Not, you know, it's... But then I suppose it's something to cling to, but it just feels a bit slidey. We'll try it and see what happens. So I've changed my mind slightly about what I'm going to use. I am going to use the Urban Decay Naked Basics. I'm going to put the Walk of Shame colour just all over my eye first of all, but for the main colour on the lid I'm going to use something else. So I'll show you what that is in a moment. Handy mirror in this, it's really good. So I just pat that over, and then this brush is good for blending out. Just to get the eyelid kind of all... Okay, I have that Walk of Shame colour just all over there. The colour I'm going to go with for the lid is from the 160 colours palette. You can buy these all over eBay for really cheap. They're just like made in China eyeshadows, and they're really good. Like, some of them have great pigment and they'll stay a long time. Other ones are kind of chalky or have a lot of fallout, but you can work with them. But the colour I'm going to use is this one here, if you can see it. Kind of browny, orangey, neutrally, little tiny bit of shimmer in it, because what she has on her eyes, it's one tone, like I don't know what colour you'd call it, browny taupe, but it changes in the light. So I'm hoping if I put some of that on and just use one colour and blend it out, it will look good and slightly different in different lights, different tones. So I'm going to go with that. And this isn't supposed to be oh, this is how you look like Helena Bonham Carter. I suppose this is more of and inspired by the picture of Helena Bonham Carter in The Lone Ranger, because I'm not that good. It's just my computer dying. Yeah, the colour payoff on this is, it's okay, but you need to build it. Not tons come off when you dip your brush. I'm using the same brush, the base shadow brush that I used for the base colour, the Walk of Shame colour. Some point dirtying too many brushes if you don't have to. Just patting that all over first, not really doing much with it, just till I get the amount of colour that I want. Okay, you can see that that colour is building up quite a bit. I'm going to try and just, you know, blend it in a little bit into the socket. I'm just referring back to the picture all the time. In the picture, like the angle that I can see, the colour is even quite in here, and I suppose partly that's the natural shadow, but it helps with that tone, that idea that it's really not an eyeshadow on her eye, it's just the colour of her eyelid. That's what I think anyway. So just bringing that up a little bit, not all the way. It doesn't go right up under her eyebrow. It stays quite light in the picture that I'm looking at. Then I noticed that the middle section of her eye is light and slightly darker on the edges. So I think I'll bring in a darker brown there just to try and get that, because I think that would look good. So far that's what it... Okay, so I've continued on and I've put the colour from the 160 palette all over both eyes. Then I went in with a small bit of the Walk of Shame again, just in the middle, just so that it's a tiny tiny piece lighter, just if you have the clean side of your brush or just a clean brush, and I just pat a small bit on, and then use a fluffy brush and I blended a little bit of that out just to add a little bit lightness to the middle. I also put a tiny bit of the darker shade on the palette on both of the corners of the eyes, so that was the colour I used initially. Then I put this, just a small bit on each corner and on the inside, just to make that a tiny bit darker. I'm going to put a little bit of highlight under the brow and blend those two colours together so they just look a bit more so blended. That's some of the highlight in, and just blended it a little bit more. And the next thing is just liner. As I was saying, she doesn't have much liner. You know, the line just on the tight line is dark, so I'm just going to tight line a little bit of black on the bottom as well, and just black mascara. So I'm probably going to use my Avon Super Shock. Nice outside. Super Shock gel liner, which needs to be paired, but it'll be fine now for tight lining. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and yeah. Okay, so I think the curling has given a little bit more uplift to that eye, and although that eye is the harder one to do. Just with the liner a bit lower down, I just decided just to smudge it out a little bit because I just think it looks a bit harsh, so I'm just going to do that. I put mascara on the lower lashes. Now I'm going to go back in with some concealer. Okay, so I have a highlighting concealer that I'm going to take in a V. I've done this side, so just in a V underneath, some up there, and it's just to highlight all of that area. So I'm going to buff that in. I'm going to use the Real Techniques Deluxe Crease Brush. It's supposed to be for your eyes, but you can use it for whatever, and I just took that underneath just to clean up under the eye as well, and just to make all of that brighter. Around the nose too. I just go over that with the brush you used for your foundation, just to make sure everything is blended in nicely together. But I am having a slight problem with this foundation where it is clinging where I have some dry skin. I don't have cheekbones like Helena Bonham Carter, not very many people do, but if you have some nice cheekbones that you want to highlight, just take a little of the colour and bring it in and buff it out. I'm using the Real Techniques contour brush, and just apply a little and build it until you get the look you want. You can bring it up to the forehead and same the other side, just under your cheekbone. So the next thing is blush, and Helena is not wearing very much at all, so I'm just going to use this is a Dainty Doll cream blush. It's in 001 and it's a really light pink. So I'm just going to put a very small amount of that. And the final thing is she's wearing a red lip. So that's what I'm going to go for. I'm going to line my lips first. You can use a red lip liner. I'm going to use this one that I have. It's Sugar Plum is the colour from Inca Cosmetics. Okay, the lips are just very lightly lined and just brushed over a little bit with a lip brush just to blend it out. The colour of red I'm using is from Catrice. It's their Ultimate Colour collection. It's in 120 Call the Ambulance, and it's a really nice red. So when I applied the Catrice Call the Ambulance colour, I realised it wasn't quite the colour I wanted, because in some of the shots especially the ones taken on set on the filming. Her lips are really red and they're juicy looking. So I chose to use, where is it? This Last and Finish red with a bit of this pinky lip gloss over the top, because in some of the other shots there's a bit of a pinky tone. So I hope the colour comes off right when you watch this video. So that's my kind of recreation inspired by Helena Bonham Carter's character Red in The Lone Ranger. So hopefully I'll be back with more. Hope you like this one, and if you have done something similar, post a video response. If or if you have any comments or opinions or anything you can tell me I could do better, do that too. Oh, and one more thing, never use that Essence foundation again. It's just so bad. Do not use it if you have dry skin, it will stick like crazy, but if you don't have dry skin, it's really nice. It's really lovely coverage. So 50-50 there. Okay, thanks for watching, see you again.